time the beat drop.
Hello everyone, you're watching Save and Continue. We're coming to you live. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're in the lovely Inravio studios in the great state of New York, talking about the internet, technology, video games, you get the rest of it. We're back once again. It's been it's been a busy week, as always, dude. I sound redundant every episode, but it's only getting busier and busier, which is good news for us. What have you been playing, like we normally do? Anything new? Anything you're watching? Anything you're obsessed about?
No, I'm
There's
not
tons
playing
out there
right now because apparently Verizon's on strike. And
Really?
they decided to cut our internet off around the same time that they're going on strike. So
Wait. Circle back. How are you personally not receiving service because? Just explain it. Your situation, I guess.
apparently,
Yeah.
they had some kind of service checkup, change, whatever, scheduled for us on a specific date.
Oh.
We didn't have anything scheduled on our end.
Yeah.
So our internet just wasn't working, and it's funny because foreshadowing this, a friend of mine who's a photographer took pictures of the Verizon employees on strike about a week prior to me finding this out. And we called and they said, yeah, we can't get your internet back on because our employees are on strike. So not only are the employees on strike right now, but Verizon turned off my home's internet, including the phone, TV service, everything, and they can't get it back
It's not
on.
funny, I'm sorry. It's
And they can't get it back on because the employees are on strike. So they thought it was a good idea to turn off our service while the employees were on strike, and now we can't get our service until May first week of May.
Wow, that's like that joke they made when NASA got defunded or went on strike, and they were like, "What about the astronauts still in space?" It's kind of like a less impactful
It's
version.
an interesting comparison.
You were left behind, is my point.
Yeah, so
you were abandoned.
It was kind of a crappy coincidence that this happened at the same time, and it's ridiculous. But so yeah, I'm not really playing anything because the stuff that I really play
you
usually
can't.
online. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess I could play The Witcher 3. This would be a good time to play it, but
Man, that stinks. What the fudge?
yeah.
What terrible timing.
I'm kind of out of the loop right now.
Yeah,
my
I don't
phone,
blame you.
which
You have no
we're-
internet.
Yeah, we're playing extra.
That's like not having water.
It almost feels that way.
I'm not
sometimes.
exaggerating
It
in the
almost feels
slightest
that way.
bit either.
In this world, when you have your own businesses and you keep in touch with specific people, absolutely.
It's like, would you like drinking water or would you like access to the internet? I'd be like, I don't know, dude.
Oh, no, I think I prefer water.
Like, drinking water?
Yeah, I don't want to get that excessive, but I know what
Yeah.
you're saying. It's a thought that
But
counts.
it's an exaggeration, obviously. But you're right. I mean, so much of modern day anything is so reliant on the internet. That's why the whole, it's off topic, but the whole like security, privacy with cell phones and everything, it's like, why does it matter? It's just my phone. That's not your phone. It's not a phone anymore. The smartphone you have in your pocket has so much, it has your life on it. I don't want to say it and be materialistic and say that your phone is your life. It's obviously not. But that holds so much more than just a contact list of phone numbers and the ability to make phone calls. Like to say the security on a phone doesn't matter is ridiculous because calling it a phone is ridiculous. The iPhone is not a phone anymore. That thing in your pocket isn't a phone. It's a multimedia device that's constantly connected to the internet and holds some of your most personal, private information on it, including debit card information, credit card information, social security information, and your personal information.
It's not even that stuff that concerns me as much. It's more the expectancy. Like if you have a certain kind of business or social circle or whatever, especially business, where everything is so connected nowadays. Email addresses, your phone line itself, your ability to keep in touch with the people that might follow you or whatever,
Yeah.
or your clients.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing for me. But I mean, I still have my phone service. It's just obviously I can't use the Wi-Fi in my house, so we're paying extra.
Yeah, I mean, now with the whole,
So it's freaking ridiculous.
because there's no
I'm
more
being-
unlimited. It just doesn't exist. They have a cap, but it's like, no one's going to reach that cap. And it's like, yes, you are.
It boggles my mind how corporations just allow let these things happen. Like, come on, duh. You think if you're gonna do this with my service at this time, during this time that your employees are on strike, and they're the ones doing, all this stuff.
Dude, look at Comcast. They're the world's most evil corporation, but are they changing their ways? Not really. When you have enough money and you're still going to make money, it doesn't matter how many people you screw over. They'll start caring when they start losing money. But until that point, they're going to rob you blind or just treat you like crap because you're one of 33 million people with the service, and why would they care if one person fell off the map,
Yeah, it's cool. I got.
It's cool.
It's cool. I got my phone. I got my goofy boots. That's all I need right now.
Yeah, that's all you need, man. A phone and goof in nature. That's all you need. I haven't really been playing too much. A ton of Rocket League, pretty much for anticipation because they're releasing a slam dunk mode, which is basically a basketball mode for Rocket League. Free update April 26th.
Very cool, very cool.
So I'm actually just kind of obsessing about Rocket League right now, kind of get myself back into it. James recently picked it up for PS4, so we will be finally playing our first cross-compatible experience together very, very soon, which has been
that's
long time coming.
How's voice chat working with that? Same way?
Same exact. Well, the beauty of Rocket League is that it's actually a text-based system. It's
Really?
only typing, or there are hotkeys for different commands. This kind of weeds out the negative community that can develop from the freedom of speech, I guess. But it's like they did that consciously when in interviews. They said they wanted that specifically because they didn't want the community to become so toxic. So now you have to actually type out what you want in your messages. But if you're playing a proper game of Rocket League, you don't have time to do that usually. But you have hotkeys for emotions that are just like good shot, defending, push forward, nice job, or wow, can't believe that happened. So basically, you're just your key responses to kind of. And you know what? I made the same face you did of like we're in 2016. Why can't I have voice communication? But honestly, it's so refreshing. It's honestly so. I couldn't imagine Rocket League with voice chat on it because it would become toxic. It's one of the most competitive games out there, and it really does get on your nerves when you lose enough. And so I can just absolutely see people abusing the voice system. Much like, God, I know you've never played it, but imagine League of Legends if that had voice communication in it. It would just be, Call of Duty would have nothing on that as far as toxic community goes. Because League of Legends is one of the most unwelcoming, harshest communities ever. Like
Why?
It's because the games last 40 minutes and because these people are so die-hard dependent on their rank. When you lose a game, your stats go down. And they're trying to get to that gold rank, silver rank, diamond rank so that they can play on professional teams and make money. But so if you hop on a team with randos and you're playing piss poor, they go off on you because they need to win that match. But again, it's a catch-22. It's like you're learning. You're actively trying to get people away from the game by doing that. That's why I don't play League anymore, because I don't have 40 minutes to dedicate and then have some guy just screaming at me because I've never played the game correctly, even though it's my third match. It's just, how could you continue with that? So I'm playing Rocket League. I'm going to be interested to see how they do it with PS4 integration. There's obviously going to be, I don't think there's going to be any voice communication added on, so I imagine they will just have some kind of system of hotkeys for the PS4 controller where you can respond exactly how you did. And if you still have that PS4 keypad, I'm assuming you could use it for text communication. But yeah, Rocket League. It's also free this weekend on Steam, so if you want a reason to try it and then actively buy the game later, now's a great time to do it because it's going to be free from tomorrow until Sunday, which is awesome. Did my mic just die? No, we're good. Moving on to a couple other stuff. I want to talk about Star Wars Episode 9. And I got
9?
Yeah. I'm sorry, 8. I'm already so excited. They already announced 9.
I can't.
Let's see
if 8 is good first.
Well, we're going to talk about 8 right now. So Star Wars. So let me finish because I know you're going to roll your eyes, and we've had this conversation a million times. I get it. Let me finish. So J.J. Abrams basically, in an interview, acknowledged all the similarities between The Force Awakens and A New Hope, and obviously all of that was intentional. He said in his interview his intentions were to cleanse viewers' palates of the prequel by delivering them a sequel that's at the same time meshed in a reboot. It's almost like an alternate universe of the same events. That's how I see the first episode, because you're right, there are so many similarities between a Death Planet and a Death Star and the whole relationships between families and sons and betrayal. But that's why I didn't mind it. I kind of viewed Force Awakens as much as of a remake as I did as a sequel. Is there soup in there?
I don't know.
Why is he chewing his drink? You good?
I didn't even try to make dinner.
That's fine.
What a terrible idea, sorry.
I don't know why I thought there'd be a normal beverage in that. Everything that you've shown me so far would not lead me to believe that. But so basically, he acknowledged the fact that yes, it is extremely similar. And so the next director of Episode 8, this is what I got really excited about. Months ago, the director already announced Episode 8 is going to be vastly, vastly different than Force Awakens and the Star Wars original trilogy as a whole. Like like very, very different. You won't believe that this is a Star Wars movie, according to him. And so that's, the director's obviously going to hype that up. But then the actor, who's my favorite actor on the scene, actually, Oscar Isaacs, who plays Poe Dameron, the rebel pilot.
He's my favorite character.
He's fantastic. Dude, Inside Llewyn Davis, Drive, he's just, such a good actor. He basically, during an interview, because they're in the middle of shooting 8 right now, said that he's shot a bunch of indie movies before prior to this, and he said that this is almost identical to the same conditions as shooting an indie film. So it sounds like we're getting a darker, grittier, not necessarily lower budget Star Wars, but they're not pandering to the explosions and the effects of The Force Awakens.
Darker and grittier like Empire Strikes Back?
No, I think darker and grittier, like, if anything they've taught us is that, look at Rogue One. You've seen the trailer for that, obviously. The Rogue One trailer.
Oh, do you know what I did?
You did.
We didn't even talk about that.
Sure. I mean, we're going to bring it up now. Babaji. Babaj. 823. Thank you for the follow.
I can't see anything.
I know, it's right. Well, they didn't chat. Well, usually it comes up. I don't know. Thank you for the follow. But basically, he said it's going to be shot almost identical to an indie film, and that got me really pumped up, because my one complaint with Force Awakens is that it was a little too effects heavy or action orientated. It was more, I like movies where the character drives the plot rather than the action of the plot driving the plot. I don't like a movie where the plot is the best part. I like a movie where the characters are the best part and they're living in this plot. So it sounds like this is going to be much more of a character-driven movie, which I'm really excited about, because I think one of the biggest complaints of Force Awakens was the lack of character development, or the lack of intentions in characters. It was hard for a lot of people to understand the justifications of Finn just immediately flipping a 180 and just blowing away a bunch of stormtroopers without any hesitation. I think that was a big complaint for a lot of people, was just there were no justifiable motivations for these characters.
That wasn't my issue with it as much.
I think that's what the majority issue is. I know you had a bunch of problems with it, obviously.
That's not my...
That was mine in my eyes. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. But
I didn't have a problem with the characters as much as I did the structure of the story. I felt like Force Awakens was very poorly paced.
Oh, interesting. I thought that was one of the commendable parts of the movies. I was never once bored in the movie.
I thought the pacing was pacing isn't always about boredom, having, boring areas.
But I mean, noticeable points that slow down. What you're saying is the pacing was incorrect.
Yeah, I didn't feel like there was, I feel like the flow of the movie just didn't jive with me too much, as far as allowing the set pieces and the moments and the scenes of the movie to kind of soak in and let us just...
I think it's a plot-driven movie. That's what I mean. I think with character-driven movies, they would slow down, and again, not in a boring sense, but in a sense where you're actually able to comprehend what's happening and appreciate the moments that are unfolding in front of you. Does that make any sense?
This is the thing. I want to see, now that it's coming out on Blu-ray, I would like to see it again, but it's something that I definitely know I have things to critique on. But because I was so unenthused about the result that we got out of The Force Awakens, I think I should go back and watch it again, because I know a lot of people we know watched it like 2 or 3 times. But there was just something about it, like, I'm just comparing.
Not counting Blu-ray too.
This is just an example. Deadpool and as a viewing experience, and Force Awakens viewing experience. I felt like Deadpool.
Okay, well,
story. No, I'm just using it from a story standpoint. Sure. Like, I don't care what genre it is. I don't care what characters it is, what franchise it is. A story is a story. There's a beginning and there's an end, and you want to feel like throughout the story that everything just kind of feels like it belongs. Feels like there's no time wasted. That things were maybe better fleshed out, or maybe if things just should be unnecessary to begin with. Like, I feel like there were just scenes that were in Star Wars: Force Awakens that were just unnecessary, and I think, again, going back to how we were talking about the similarities between Force Awakens and A New Hope, I think that was a big part of it too. Like me just seeing too much of the same.
When people say that and they explain that that's one of their reasons for not enjoying the film, I totally get that. I totally, 100%. That's why when someone's like, I didn't like Star Wars Force Awakens, I don't jump down their throat like, how could you not? It's totally understandable how you could not appreciate those moments. It's funny, The Force Awakens has developed no middle ground from what I've seen. You either are a huge fan of it or you're underwhelmed.
I was.
That's fine. That's fine.
I want to see it again, which
Yes.
is funny because a couple months ago I would have said that I would not have cared to see Force Awakens ever again.
James
But
got it on Blu-ray, man.
I
Watch
do-
it whenever
oh,
you
does he
want.
really?
Yeah, we watched it twice already. Deleted scenes, bro.
believe
Oh, there's tons of. All the deleted scenes are better than the movie, arguably.
Well, that's a problem.
That's like, well, I mean, like it's like Kingdom of Heaven, the movie. Like when the theatrical release was just panned as terrible, but if you watch the director's cut, honestly, one of the best medieval-esque movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's just the scenario. That's what I'm hearing about.
But getting back,
Yes,
the
sorry,
reason
I was
why
off track.
I compared it to Deadpool is, as far as the enjoyment of the movie that I got. I understand one's a comedy and one isn't. I understand they're completely
Sure.
two different genres.
Sure.
Pandering to different crowds, but like I felt like the story told in Deadpool was cohesive and simple enough to enjoy, and then the characters in there were likable enough, you know. And then when I go to Star Wars, I feel like it was just a mishmash of like, we got to fit this in, we got to jump to here, we got to go to here, we got to like. I feel like they were making things more complex than it had to be, and at the same time playing it too safe.
I 100% agree that Deadpool was fantastic, but what I think we're doing right now is we're comparing, in the almost literal sense, apples and oranges.
That's why I just made a disclaimer.
Yes,
that
well,
I
I mean,
understand they're two different movies.
Sure,
It's just
but
that
you're talking about that simplicity. Deadpool revolves around the development of one character, one plot, one location, one theme. Also comedy, which again, I don't want to give too much away, but a comedy, it's not that it's easier to do, but you can get away with it more. Star Wars The Force Awakens, you were dealing with not only 3 or 4 brand new characters, but also 3 or 4 characters that everyone's been dying to see from the last trilogy.
and-
You're dealing with a whole bunch of planets, you're dealing with like geopolitics, and I agree that they could have been done better, or in a less chaotic manner, in a simpler fashion, but I think trying to be like, well, Deadpool did it is just, it's just two totally different
I'm talking about more the
circumstances.
feeling that I got watching the movie and then leaving the movie. Like leaving Star Wars, I just felt like very unsatisfied.
You said so much happened in Force Awakens.
A
lot does happen.
a lot happens, but I feel like a lot of it that does happen almost feels like it didn't contribute to anything too. Like almost like it was pointless. That's what I meant by I feel like there was some unnecessary.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're
scenes.
saying by that.
But to be honest,
What would be pointless in your? Just as if you need an example.
the whole thing
think of a scene?
about the star map and finding Luke and going to the cantina, I felt like all that stuff was so shoehorned in, and it could have been done in a much cleaner way. I feel like it was sometimes rushed or not emphasized enough. Like it was almost like it was in the background, but like with the map. See, here's the thing. I'm going to stop myself right here. The flaw in my argument right now is that I haven't seen Force Awakens since the release of it. I didn't care for it too much, and therefore things are a little hazy with me right now too.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it again.
I think you'd enjoy it
and then-
again a second. I enjoyed it more the second time because there were those moments you notice.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take watching a movie twice for me to enjoy it, but I am curious enough to see it again and maybe give it, the benefit of the doubt.
I think enjoy is the wrong word. I think the word appreciate is
Yeah.
more because there's
I-
movies I can enjoy, but I appreciate it on the second viewing.
Yeah, that's why, like we're talking about it right now. I feel like I can't give as thorough of an argument.
Sure.
As I'd
I mean,
like, but I know it's there.
Yes.
You know.
It's like I said, it's justifiable. You have a
Yeah.
justifiable argument. My only thing, the Deadpool thing is the only thing that gets me because it's just too.
I use
like,
that as an
Deadpool-
example because
I
it
know,
was
it's
a movie
just-
that I saw recently
it's
that
just-
I thought
it's so simple.
I thought the story of Deadpool was done so well.
Because it was
considering-
simple. It was really simple.
It was simple, but it was done
incredibly simple.
But for something that was so simple, it was highly entertaining, just like the
Sure.
original Star Wars. I feel like
Simplicity doesn't mean unentertaining. But I also think complexity doesn't make it unentertaining. I don't think in every scenario less is more. I don't think that applies in every scenario. I think movies, like in Inception, like that was unnecessarily complex and everything. And I still love that movie. And one of the main arguments for it is that movie is too complicated. It's so complex and cool. Like that's why I love it. Like I don't understand it fully. Like it makes you think. Like that's not a negative in my mind. I appreciate movies that do that. I love Deadpool because that's the kind of movie that strips away all the crap, but that's because that's the kind of movie that can get away with it, breaking the fourth wall, focusing entirely on one character. They didn't have to introduce any X-Men. They brought back 2 small X-Men characters and then made a joke about how there weren't more of them. Now, if this movie had been taken seriously, they would have had to have an actual explanation as to why there's only 2 X-Men in the mansion. But instead, they just went, you couldn't afford more? Deadpool can get away with that stuff because it's breaking the fourth wall, which makes its job easier.
And
still love it, still a hard thing to write, still appreciate the crap out of it, but I think going, Deadpool did it compared to Star Wars, it's just like, Star Wars is dealing with so much more. Not only with its production and money and everything, but what it has to cater to, like what it has to make back. Deadpool wasn't exactly, people were looking forward to it, but no one was like, I don't think anyone anticipated the level of success it was about to get. You know, and Star Wars Force Awakens, they went into that going, we need to blow this out of the water.
Apparently, actually, speaking of Deadpool versus Star Wars, apparently Deadpool did better than Star Wars in Russia. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's fine. Star Wars isn't a huge property,
which is interesting to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Star Wars isn't big in Russia.
My one of the biggest points, I feel like we're just talking about Star Wars now.
Yeah, fine.
But the whole point, a big point that I didn't like about Star Wars that is not relating to anything is that I thought the villains were lame as hell. I thought Force Awakens villains were so terrible compared to what the bar that has been set.
I thought Kylo Ren was great.
I didn't think he was that great.
The only person I didn't like was Phasma.
Phasma was underused.
Because you know she's going to show up in the next one, and the first scene she's going to be like, she's going to walk out with trash covered in her, and like, I just got out of that trash compactor. Like, you know that's going to be that kind of joke.
And Snoke, whether there's more mystery to him or not, which there obviously is, I don't care enough. You know,
You didn't, again, I remember being in the theater, you didn't like this, the guy that was basically Hitler. And I thoroughly enjoyed him.
I didn't like him because I thought that he wasn't an intimidating, villainous-looking dude. I thought that he was poorly casted.
You see, he was casted, fun fact, because him and Oscar Isaac starred in Ex Machina together, and then people love putting those people together.
He felt like one of the generals or whatever that would have stood behind Darth Vader in the original trilogy and just pretty much said nothing.
Yeah.
Like he did not deserve to get a spotlight as one of the primary villains.
I don't think he is a primary villain.
They totally made him out to be like one.
I think he exists to show the difference or the dichotomy between him and Kylo Ren. I think he exists to show the Empire, like the strict, actual, like the physical manifestation of the Empire in all of its senses. And then there's Kylo Ren, who still hangs on to the Jedi Dark Order, which people are still kind of going like, is that real or is that magic? I think it's a great dichotomy between what has happened in the last Star Wars, how Jedis and Sith have become magic and rumors and basically dragon levels of crap. And here comes Kylo Ren, like showing like it still exists next to this other dude who's just like, can we please cut this Harry Potter crap and just get back to guns and running this machine of an empire? I didn't find him particularly intimidating, but I never found any of the side generals or whatever the guys running the ships in the original trilogy that intimidating either.
Well, they weren't supposed to be because
it's supposed to be about Darth Vader.
Right, but they tried to make him look like he was something more than that.
I think so too.
Like with his speech and everything like that, which the speech wasn't bad, but himself as a character, the actor or whatever, I wasn't convinced.
Oh, so you just didn't like the acting?
Oh, I'm talking about the actor himself. I felt like I said,
what's the difference?
I think he was poorly casted. I think if they took a different actor for that role, I think he would have been better.
I don't know. You know what it is? I think his screen time represents how important he is. He's only in the movie for a couple snippets.
He didn't feel important.
He exists to progress the plot along. I couldn't see him outliving the next movie. I think you're giving much more attention to him than he's going to get. I think he exists purely to show the power or the difference between Kylo Ren and Snoke, and I think the ferocity of this new order. But I don't see him as like a particular threat, or like I don't think they're going to show a cast photo and he's going to be up there. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think he's that impactful. But I get what you're saying.
I just think that if there's the biggest flaw I think of Force Awakens, it's the villains. I was not drawn by the villains.
It's a totally reasonable
explanation. Well, that and
sure.
the retread.
I'm very much looking forward to the Knights of Ren though in the next one. That whole explanation, because in the flashback Kylo Ren stabs a Knight of Ren, one of his own guys, because he's trying to.
Who were under Luke's apprenticeship, right?
Yes, but then followed Kylo Ren when he betrayed. And then the whole rumor now is that Kylo Ren is the cousin of Rey, and that he killed the Knights of Ren soldier to prevent him from killing Rey because he felt bad because he still has some good in him. And he's the one that dropped off Rey on the deserted planet to live on her own. And that's why he has such a hard problem accepting the dark side, because he still has good inside of him and he knows that. That was my main complaint, is that there's the whole story behind Finn and his squad mates and stuff. It's great plot. It just wasn't included in the movie. You had to read the comics, and I feel like you shouldn't have to do that. I agree with the head thing you're doing. I agree. I will do it.
It's Halo all over again for me.
No one's gonna read the extended universe. Like I will, he might, but not the average moviegoer. Like
you gotta treat it like the movie exists and nothing else. That's how you gotta treat it.
I had no problem with being so similar to Force Awakens, because I'm like, they need to appease all the people that saw the original movie and all these kids who are just getting into Star Wars now. That's what I think.
I will say this though, Rogue One does look interesting to me.
Looking good, yeah.
Because I love, if there's anything I like about Star Wars, it's definitely the weaponry and the ship-to-ship combat.
Sure. Well, this is basically a dogfight movie. According
That's what I mean. So it seems like Rogue One. I will see Rogue One, and I will be excited going into it. We'll see how it turns out.
According to reports, like Rogue One is like a fraction of how dark and gritty Episode 8 is going to be.
I don't even care about how dark and gritty anything is at this point. I just want a good Star Wars movie.
I want,
you know what I mean?
The closest I can possibly get to an R-rated Star Wars movie. I love Star Wars. I think they could get dark with it though, and you know, it doesn't have to be. That's why I'm excited that they're going to be producing like a new Star Wars Netflix show every year for the next.
Oh, they're actually doing that?
Who knows, like 40 years.
Are they doing that?
Yeah, we're going to get Star Wars till we die. But that's why I got no problem, because eventually they're going to cross that. We're going to get some crap, but we're going to get some great stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
we already got the prequels. I'm not afraid of bad Star Wars stuff.
I have no problem with them using Star Wars in as many forms of media and art as possible. I think that's great, but if there's any indication of what it's going to be, and that only basis we have of what it will be is off of Force Awakens, I am not looking forward
to it. That's why I think they're making a point to explain that's not the right thing to do. Don't base it off of Force Awakens, because the next movie is going to be drastically different, as I'm sure the movie after that will be. I don't want the same theme in every movie. I want the next Star Wars movie to feel like a totally different Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I mean, if I was heading the movie and I knew how to direct and I knew how to do all that stuff, I would have taken it in a totally different direction if that's what they were saying.
What direction, though?
A direction that's fresh, a direction that caters to both its history but also going forward. I felt like we were stuck in such a it's safe. It was playing it too safe. That's the best way to put it. Not enough moving forward and too much staying back.
I think that's the position JJ was, I don't want to say stuck in, because you can do whatever you want, but I think he made one, and it's hard, obviously, we're spitballing here.
Well, whether it was truly his fault or not, I think he was being...
I wouldn't say fault, because I enjoyed the movie. I think he hit a home run with it, but I think he's in the conundrum of you're appeasing two... This is such a unique circumstance, Star Wars. You got to understand that. Like, it's such a... I mean, you understand it, obviously. It's such a bizarre, like... It's been a decade. It's been over a decade since we've got more of this stuff, and I think he's trying to, like... People have lived and died since Star Wars has happened. Like, there's kids that grew up before it happened, and it's just... What?
This is a terrible idea.
Isn't it cold by now?
No, it's warm. It's in a thermos.
What is it?
It's tomato soup. It's tomato soup.
Oh God! I don't know.
I can't, like, you can't physically like you have to go like that. I can't do that right now. So it sucks.
We're gonna take a quick break.
Well, then I can. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll give you a minute to eat. When we come back, we got lots more stuff to talk about, including we're gonna talk about the internet. Oh yeah, that's right. We're running through straight this week. Oh, cool. No commercials this episode. That's because I forgot to do something today. Yes. Yeah. So let's talk about the internet threw a fit because there's a Ghost in the Shell live action movie coming out with Scarlett Johansson as the Major, and everyone expectedly threw a fit because they claim it's Hollywood whitewashing.
Well, because she's supposed to be Chinese, right?
I don't even know. Or Japanese. I'm about to go on a rant, so you can go ahead and speak if you'd like.
Sweet.
If there's any notes you want to bring. Are you excited for Ghost in the Shell?
I actually forgot that it was even in production.
Yes.
Am I excited for it? I don't know.
Are you excited for anime movies? Because apparently that's the next thing after superheroes. The rumors are we're going to be seeing a whole new line of live action anime adaptations.
Time will tell. I'm not really, and this sounds super negative, but don't take it like this. Like, I'm not really excited for anything right now because I'm kind of just riding the wave. I'm kind of just seeing what's going to come out of just, the world right now as far as Hollywood and indie films and video games and indie games, So I don't want to hype myself up for anything anymore because I feel like that in today's world of expectations as far as, fans go of fiction, I think it's very easy to set yourself up for disappointment because of all the lights and tassels and glitter and confetti everywhere and all buzzwords. I've been through it for too long now, and if Star Wars, for an example, for me is any indication, I just want to be pleasantly surprised, and that's it. I want something to kind of surprise me instead of me being surprised that it sucks.
You gotta do what I do now. The analogy I use is that I develop crushes on trailers and projects, but I don't fall in love with them. You get what I'm saying about
Okay,
that?
I know.
You can get yourself excited for something, just don't put all your chickens in one basket and be like, this is going to be great. I'm excited for Rogue One.
Your eggs, or you put chickens
What is it? Chickens?
in baskets?
What is it?
Eggs. You put eggs in a basket.
To put your eggs in the basket before your chickens.
It'd be a big basket if you put chickens in it.
Yeah, you get my point.
You wouldn't fit that many chickens in that.
I watch trailers and I go, that looks cool. That might be awesome. Keyword might. So I still allow myself to get hyped up on trailers, but I mean, you're right. It's just we live in an era now where it's just like trailers are so good.
Yeah, like
it's just
trailers
better
are
than the movies.
trailers are really good. Like for example, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 remake. The next Star Wars film. What else?
Choo choo hype train.
Anything really. All these things that are big brand name high production movies and video games. Like I don't really follow that anymore unless I truly feel that this is something that is going to hit. It's going to impress me. So like I don't really. So as far as excitement goes, getting back to Ghost in the Shell.
Yes, yeah.
My history with Ghost in the Shell is that I've seen a little bit of the anime on Adult Swim and Toonami and
I actually
whatnot.
binged it not too long ago.
Yeah?
Because we've been talking about it for so long, it was just like I'm not at the mental capacity to digest that show at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, see,
like, it's one of the most complicated shows ever.
That's the thing. Like
so hard.
I'm not into the lore enough. I don't know enough about the lore to be
It's really
too
good.
excited. Like
you gotta watch it back to back, like during the day when you have the energy and it's not 4 in the
yeah,
morning.
like
You'll appreciate it more.
Like I'd be more. I honestly, I'd be more amped for like a Black Lagoon movie.
They're never gonna
or
make
like
that.
or like. But could you imagine if they
Oh,
did?
don't even.
How cool that would be
No.
if they did it right.
Stop. Stop
Samurai
talking.
Champloo.
They do that.
Even Bebop.
Well, they've been trying to make that. For
Yeah,
years.
no, I know. Yeah. So we'll see. I still think it's a little weird. Scarlett Johansson as the major.
Well,
I don't see that.
Well, let's get into it.
Despite her heritage, it
Sure.
doesn't make sense to me.
My concern with Ghost in the Shell is that, talking about it, it's such a complicated show, is that they're going to do what all Hollywood movies tend to do and try and
Mesh everything into
everything
one
in
thing.
one movie.
Like
and it's,
like Batman versus Superman.
more or less, yeah. You're trying to do too much with too little. Like, for instance, they're developing a movie adaptation of my favorite book, Forever War, and I keep telling everyone all the
Too
time.
much with too much, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Forever War, I can tell you right now, like, this isn't an opinion, this is a fact. The movie will not work unless it's a trilogy. Like, it cannot be told in one movie.
Marvel?
Forever War.
What is that?
It's a book it's basically about this guy who he fights in a futuristic war, but technology is so advanced by then, he travels through slip time to get to the planets he's supposed to fight in. So 10, 15 years goes by without him aging. So by the time he finishes the war, he's still the same age, but humanity has developed like 1,000 years into the future. And he comes back from war and it's just like, what the freak? Like, imagine going back from where we live now to Blade Runner City. Like, that's what he experienced. But he goes to Paris and fights in different wars and stuff, and to put it all in one movie would suck. That's why Ghost in the Shell can't fit in one movie. It'd be a great Netflix series. That's what I think.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
So the internet threw a fit because Scarlett Johansson is not Asian. People who are angry, I'm almost copying verbatim what this guy is saying, and I hate doing that, but there's a great YouTuber, director named Max Landis, and he did a rant. You know him? Yeah. I love how immediately he just does the hair, and he's got ridiculous hair. Anyway.
I like, just a little comment, I like Max Landis. I like him. As far as movies go, I don't think I've seen any of his movies, but
Chronicle, American Ultra.
Yeah.
He did a big one. I forgot what it was, but it was a really popular one.
But I think he's interesting. I think he's an interesting guy.
He knows what he's talking about, dude.
I like hearing him speak, which is funny because a lot of people don't.
Oh, because he's passionate, I feel like. He's got this thing,
passionate.
The Death of Superman, it's like 20 minutes, and he just goes on a drunk rant, and it's one of the most entertaining things I've ever heard.
You know Red Letter Media?
Yep.
He's done videos with them.
Oh, yeah, he does a bunch of stuff.
So he's a cool guy.
He's great. Chronicle was fantastic. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it was one of those indie movies, like one of those guys.
No, I know about it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
But I hate copying what people say, but he stole exactly what I wanted to say. If you are like angry that Scarlett Johansson is cast in this movie, you do not understand how the film industry works. It's simple as that. Back years ago, people could you could make a movie off of star power. There was Jackie Chan, Chris Rock. There was millions of stars that were so uber popular you could develop an entire movie and rely upon viewings based on that actor alone. Those days are behind us. That's why you see major actors popping up in tiny little movies here and there, because star power really does not mean that much. There are maybe 10, 12 male actors on the circuit right now that are famous enough to like hinge a whole movie on. Leonardo DiCaprio, Will Smith, Denzel Washington. There aren't that many left. Brad Pitt, and there's even fewer female leads, all of which are white. I can't name one Asian A-list celebrity in Hollywood right now that would have enough. Huh?
Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu, a decade ago. So people are getting confused that it's whitewashed. The point is, without Scarlett Johansson, you would not be getting a Ghost in the Shell movie right now. Ghost in the Shell is an incredibly complicated, and as much as some people might like it, obscure anime in the US. The fact that it's getting a live adaptation in film is miraculous, and the only reason that's happening is because they're hinging a lot of it on star power, aka Scarlett Johansson. I'd love to have an Asian lead in this role, but there's no one that could guarantee the monetary return to a studio to do that. And you can call that all about the money if you want, but these guys are shelling out hundreds of millions of dollars to produce this movie, and if they're not absolutely 100% certain they're going to get a return on their money, they're not going to do it. So they enlist top name Hollywood actors to do this. That's why they were fighting so hard to have Scarlett Johansson. They actually added her in the cast, received the backlash, and there was legitimate talk about CGI effects being applied to her face to basically give her a CG Asian face.
She's got a hot body.
So basically, their best response to this outrage was to basically Asian face Scarlett Johansson. The same exact thing as a blackface. But that's how dedicated they were to having Scarlett Johansson on this movie. Because without her, there's just no guarantee you're going to get money back. Yeah. People are going to go to this because you have a huge Hollywood star attached to it. Without that, the Ghost in the Shell, like besides you and me, who the hell knows what Ghost in the Shell is? Nobody. You'll get those hardcore fans that go to the audience, but how many of that is going to give you a return?
Well, I would say out of all the animes, aside from Dragon Ball Z, I think that...
We won't talk about that.
Well, no, I'm talking about anime, and I'm not talking about the Dragon Ball movie. I'm not talking about the movie. I'm saying in general as far as popularity goes.
Yes.
Ghost in the Shell has very notable influences as far as movies and film goes and pop culture. Whether people know it or not, I mean, the Matrix trilogy was inspired by Ghost in the Shell. And something else was inspired by Ghost in the Shell, something big that came out of the 90s, and I forget what it is, it's on the tip of my tongue. But Ghost in the Shell makes more sense to me to be an anime than other animes for that reason. I think in the background, even though it might not be so much in the mainstream movie watcher's mind, I think more in the film industry, I think Ghost in the Shell has some kind of presence.
Yeah,
you know, considering what it's influenced in the past.
Sure, I 100% agree. I think the only problem is that we are such a small fraction of people who will be going to see this movie. I think a bulk of the money that's going to come in is from people who have never heard of Ghost in the Shell. They might have heard of it and know it's an anime and never get it, but beyond that, I think a bulk of these people are going to be fresh moviegoers who are thinking either A, this is an interesting plot, B, I've heard the name Ghost in the Shell before, or C, that's Scarlett Johansson, I'm going to see it.
Because there's anime-inspired movies here and there that you don't even know were anime-inspired. Like I think Del Toro had one. I'm not talking about Pacific Rim. I think he had a different anime. It's so funny because I was just watching something on this the other day. But yes, so.
You need Scarlett Johansson. As much as I love an Asian lead, you would not be getting a Ghost in the Shell movie without Scarlett Johansson right now. So you got, to the people online expressing their outrage at the film studio or the film industry, even stupidly at Scarlett Johansson herself, you're angry at the wrong people. You should be angry at society. That's what it is.
They could always reboot it.
It's true.
Because that's all we do.
I mean,
we're the fourth, third reboot of Spider-Man already?
Yeah, but I mean, Andrew Garfield, I don't count that. I don't count Andrew Garfield.
It still happens.
No,
reboot still happens.
It was so bad. The second movie, they cut him out to the second movie. Even he admitted he never felt like Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, this kid, the new one that's playing Spider-Man, is going to crush it. And apparently, Iron Man makes an appearance in the new Spider-Man Homecoming movie.
Now it's called Homecoming. That's the subtitle. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, they're going to go. This ain't your dad's Peter Parker. I was actually hoping they were just going to go straight Miles Morales. In a different parallel universe, Spider-Man is actually hands over his clothing to a brand new Spider-Man named Miles, who was actually black, which was awesome. And that's where the rumor about Donald Glover being casted came from. But but basically, so he's going to pop up in Homecoming. But yeah, so Scarlett Johansson, without her, you wouldn't be getting a Ghost in the Shell movie. I'm happy that we're getting a Ghost in the Shell movie. I don't hate Scarlett Johansson. I think it'll be a great movie, but to expect an Asian cast out of that in a Hollywood film market is just, you're a pie in the sky. It's just, no. You're a daydreamer.
I just want them to keep the style of
Yes, that's what matters to me. Scarlett Johansson could do a good job.
That's not going to make or break it for me. I think it's more if they keep the stylistic
integrity,
cold nature of Ghost in the Shell.
Exactly. It's that cold. You said it already. It's cold, and not even like in a negative sense. Just like a really metal, just simplistic. Just the temperature is just cold. Everything it's that blue filter they put on.
Synthetic.
The whole movie is based around synthetics. So it's just like what's real. But I'm so excited for that. Moving on, we get Game of Thrones this weekend, as well as Silicon Valley, which is extremely exciting.
And I can't watch it, so I because I don't have any TV series.
You know what even sucks even more? This week, for free, starting Friday to Sunday, HBO is free for anybody for the premiere of Game of Thrones in Silicon Valley.
Wow.
So you can actually go on HBO right now, even if you don't have that at Cinemax as well, actually. So
if you're watching at James', they'll probably just watch it there. But I can't.
Wait, where else are we gonna watch it? It's James. It's his house for that. But I got my Game of Thrones shot glasses from all the houses, so I'm really excited. It's gonna be awesome.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Pretty cool, I guess.
Oh,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
My idea, the way that I want to play the game, is to fill them all up with shots ahead of the show, and then every time someone from that house dies, you take a shot from that glass. So we have like a Stark glass, you have another glass, the Lannister glass. So if like a Lannister dies, you take a shot of Lannister.
But they're not gonna. Well, this goes for any character, right?
Yeah.
Be a side character.
Oh yeah, any character. Absolutely. If you can associate a house and they're within the 6 shot classes I have, there's 6 main houses.
There's going to be that one episode. Do you need to refill every time like you empty
I was planning on it, yeah.
There's going to be that one episode that you're going to die.
Oh yeah, baby. I'm expecting it. Imagine drinking during the Red Wedding. It's like, oh God, the kid's dead, he was a Stark. Oh, the wife's dead, she was technically a Stark. Oh, Robb Stark's dead, he's a Stark.
But each house would be a different kind of liquor, right?
I'm not made of money, Frankie.
But that would make sense.
In a perfect world, yes.
But doesn't that make sense? Because otherwise you'd just be drinking.
In a perfect world, the Stark glass would be some kind of...
Well, if you're going to go all out and have different freaking house glasses, you might as well have different house liquor.
The 6-pack Game of Thrones shot glass cost me $20. To get a new liquor for each glass, that's about $80.
You've already spent way too much.
$20 on 6 shot glasses?
Absolutely.
That's not that bad.
Absolutely.
But yet you want me to spend $80 on
money you could have
alcohol.
spent on Goofy Boots.
It's one vice for another. You can't win here. Well, let's go through the Are you caught up on Silicon Valley? Do you watch Silicon Valley?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? All right.
I'm excited.
They gotta win. They gotta win this season. That's my only problem. Like, they just got their ass kicked last season, and I'm like, I can't keep watching this. Like, you gotta give me a W.
Yeah, I know we've talked about this behind the cameras.
There's just so much pain.
Yeah, I agree with, I think you and Nolan and I were talking about this, and how they kind of retreaded the same ground as season 1.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so I do want them to be less torture porn, more of, I'm getting
It'll be great. We'll watch Game of Thrones, and then we'll basically watch Silicon Valley afterwards while James falls asleep, because he hates the show. But we have to watch it.
Really? He hates Silicon
Valley?
Valley?
He doesn't get it. Like, obviously not. He's not in that kind of world. But some quickie news, because we only got 15 minutes left. Resident Evil sale is happening this weekend. Huge discounts on a bunch of the titles, like massive discounts.
What's the occasion? Why are they doing that?
They do it almost every weekend with the developer now, with Steam. They'll pick a publisher.
Oh,
and
Steam.
Steam,
okay.
yeah. Or actually, I think this is just available anywhere. Let me double check that. This is for Steam. Yes, on Steam North America. So basically, you have a massive discount. I'm talking like the most expensive thing on this list is $15, and that's the most recent Resident Evil. Resident Evil Revelations 2, Episode 1. Resident Evil Revelations 2 Deluxe Edition. Revelations 2 Costume Pack. Revelations Complete Pack. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, which I know is crap, but I might buy it because it's like $3, and I've wanted to really play it.
I heard there's
if it's $3, who cares?
I heard there's some people that legitimately liked it.
You know what it is? It's like if you, I'm gonna play it.
I'd pay.
I was fascinated by it till I saw the reviews, and I was
well,
like,
you know about the next title coming out, right?
Yeah, well, we won't have that.
Well, we can talk about that.
I mean, Resident Evil Deluxe Origins Collection, Resident Evil 6 Complete Pack, Resident Evil 5 Untold Stories Bundle, Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 0 Complete Costume Pack, Resident Evil 0 HD Remaster, Resident Evil HD Remaster, Resident Evil, this is a cool one, 4, 5, and 6 Bundle, and a Resident Evil Collector's Pack. If you can remember anything I just said off that list, what would you recommend? Again, the most expensive thing on this list is $15, and I believe it's the Resident Evil 0 HD Remaster. Because I'm going to pick up one of them. I want to buy one of these off this list, basically. And right now, I'm pretty much caught between Resident Evil 0 HD Remaster, because I really loved Resident Evil 0, or Resident Evil HD Remaster, because it's fantastic, and I'd love to go through the Spencer Mansion one more round. Especially if it looks better than the GameCube, which was hard to do even then. So, because I played Resident Evil 4, that would instinctively, that'd be the first thing I bought, but I played it on Wii 3 times.
I can't even tell you how many times I must have completed.
Yeah, so, and again, I will never get a better experience than playing that game on a Wii with the Wiimote. Like, that could not be beat to me.
The only way I think they could get me to play, well, do you know what? I honestly would play 4 again because I love that game so much. But I think the only way they would make 4 fresh at this point is if they did an actual overhaul of every single little facet of that game.
Remaster.
Like a proper remake,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Which they're doing for Resident Evil 2 anyway.
Yeah. It's only gotten ports so far, right? Really? Just like GameCube to Wii.
Oh my God! It's all it is ports.
Yeah. No, I mean, there hasn't been any upgrade really, right? Like none of those ports were enhanced.
No, there's been every port's been enhanced. Absolutely. We had the Wii version that had the PS2 features and the Wii, the what was the word? The waggle.
Waggle?
We said that it was one episode of the show a long time ago, and you made fun of me for saying waggle, and you're like, that's not a real word.
Oh, you're bringing back some. I do not remember.
You don't remember that? I said waggle.
I'm sure I made fun of you for it. That
you
sounds
did,
like
and you looked it up, and it was Bonnie looked it up actually, and it was a real word.
Well,
but anyway,
you're still using the word waggle, so I still win.
They also did the HD upscaling. Yes.
Oh, okay,
so any kind of Resident Evil 4 port right now is actually HD, and it looks pretty damn good.
So then I guess there really is a need for Resident Evil 4, more or less.
It's up to you. I mean, Resident Evil 4 HD is definitely the definitive version. I mean, look at it this way. I wouldn't doubt if they came out with like some crazy remake in like, I don't know, 5 years from now for Resident Evil 4?
That's what I was about to say. I was like, in 5 years, I would love a Resident Evil 4 HD remaster. Like right now, you have an HD version. Like, what more do you want? But 5 years from now, when it's out of like the air and you've forgotten about it,
because I'm curious to see what Capcom's going to do past Resident Evil 2 remake. Because they're remaking Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
If that does well, which I believe it will, inevitably they're going to come out with Resident Evil 3 remake.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I would love
they would probably do
Resident
either
Evil
a Resident Evil spin-off remake like Outbreak or Resident Evil 4.
Oh my God, I'd love an Outbreak remake.
Yeah, I know, we've talked about that. I wanted to.
Could you imagine with the multiplayer technology we have today? Oh my God.
That's what I want right now. But like I said, there was a rumor going around from some inside sources
so sweet.
that said that they might do that with Outbreak. But anyway,
God, that'd be cool.
So if you're going to get out of those, I mean, the only ones out of that whole list that I feel are worth it is 4, 0, and remake. I don't feel that any of those other games.
I'd like to play the Revelations.
Revelations 2.
I've heard good things.
Revelations 2, from what I watched, because I watched a Let's Play of it, it's co-op for one thing, so it seems like a fun co-op game.
Cool.
It's a game that I would play with you if I could, and it's a little less hokey than the ones that came before it, as far as the recent Resident Evil titles go, but. And the gameplay isn't half bad, but I would, your toss-up between 0 and 1. I mean, geez, 1 is probably the better game, and it's probably the more, I guess, the creepier one.
I will most likely go to the HD remake of that one, just because I don't think I've finished it to completion. If
you haven't finished, 1 is a journey. Like one,
I've gotten very, very far in it, but I don't think I've actually wrapped the whole game up.
You could beat 1 in like 2-3 hours, but if you're playing it for the first time,
not the way I play.
No, I know. If you're playing it for the first time or the first time in a while,
20 minutes behind that corner door, just waiting for that zombie to wake up, because I know he's alive. He's just laying on the ground, and as soon as I walk up, he's gonna freaking bite.
So, I mean, if you're somebody who's playing Resident Evil...
bad at this game, too. That's what you gotta remember. I'm terrible at Resident Evil. Yeah, tank controls,
well, you could switch to the tank controls. You don't need
tank controls anymore. Good.
Yeah,
I mean, you played 4 with me, or 5 with me online. And it was just like
Probably.
getting me to walk straight was a big deal. Like, you're going in the right direction, good job. And I'm like, this is great.
We're talking about what Resident Evil game that Kyle should buy off of this Steam sale
Oh, hey,
going
Ray
on.
T66.
Yeah.
There's a massive Resident Evil sale happening right now on Steam. The HD remake's on sale. The HD Zero remake's on sale. Tons of stuff is on sale. So basically, I'd like to pick up one, and I'm trying to decide which.
I think you should
Most
get.
likely the remake.
I would get 0 or
Yeah.
1. You know, 0. I mean, I would personally get 0 because it's the one I played the least. But get 1 if you feel that's what you're going for. 1's the better game. Ultimately.
Maybe I'll get both.
that
Who
is
knows? They're
the-
so cheap. I don't want to be like big baller, but they are like just so cheap right now.
Yeah, totally. Is 2 or 3 on that list?
2 or 3. No, I don't think 2 or 3 is on this list. Nope.
Because I think Resident
It
Evil
goes
3.
down to 4.
I think Nemesis is a highly underrated Resident Evil game.
I was just watching a Twitch stream of Nemesis.
Resident Evil 3, I think, is better than 2. Personally.
Really? Wow.
A lot of people would disagree with that.
I never played 3 or what about Code
3?
Veronica?
Oh,
What,
Jesus.
I remember that being the darkest video game I've ever played in my entire life. Just like squinting, like what is that a zombie?
Yeah, the HD the HD remaster is actually even darker because of the lighting.
Yeah.
They
It's
upgraded the
darker?
lighting. Yes, because they upgraded the lighting in a good way.
Oh,
in
good.
a good way.
I was like, that was
Yeah.
dark enough.
For Code Veronica, I mean, if it's any testament to me not even recognizing it wasn't on that list, it's not a bad Resident Evil game, but I think it's not that great either.
It had some of the funniest cutscenes I think I'd ever seen in my entire life.
There were some cool things to Code Veronica.
Like she like holds her hands up and drops the gun, and then drops to the floor and catches it. And
one of the
fires
one of the coolest things to ever happen in the series, and that might be the best part of Code Veronica. To be
Oh my god! It was just like, oh, so the guys are just gonna stand there and watch this guy. It was just so ridiculous.
Code Veronica. I think if it wasn't for the time that it came out, I think it wouldn't be nearly as
It's nostalgic.
popular and nostalgic as
Yeah.
some people find it. I mean, there were some cool story plot points to Resident Evil that it added that Resident Evil 5 completely threw out the window.
Yeah.
And also introduced in some ways, reintroduced. The T. Veronica virus I thought was really interesting. It had some questionable characters in it that were just a little goofy, a little too goofy. I mean, Code Veronica, it's not a bad game, but, you know.
Resident Evil is such an interesting franchise in the sense that I mean, I'm not as hardcore of a fan as you are, obviously, but
I
I'm
used to
much
be
more
able to tell you the whole
casual.
story.
But you wanted an umbrella tattoo for a while. You had that planned.
I can't believe that.
It was a tramp stamp too. Oh no, it was on the back of your neck.
Back of my neck.
Same thing as a
Yeah,
tramp.
probably-
Bonnie, is that a chick place for a tattoo? No. No? Yeah. So if I were to get 2 cherries in the back of my neck, that wouldn't be weird. There you go.
Well, the cherry, yeah.
You're getting an umbrella.
Right, not cherries. Which
Still an
imply,
umbrella.
which imply that you're
Does that imply anything? I just
yeah.
every back neck tattoo I've seen of a chick is usually cherry.
really.
Yeah. Or
You're not getting the context of that at all, are you?
no. I can imagine what it means.
Move on.
Anyway, wait. So Resident Evil is such an interesting franchise in that they could make the next thing they make could just be a complete, just total, like just change lanes, just with Resident Evil, and I'd have no problem with that. I feel like it's such an awesome franchise, and for as many games as they've released, we haven't gotten nearly deep enough into the universe as I would like. Does that make any sense to you? Because there's so many games and there's so many stories and fantastic characters and plot points, but I feel like I've explored so little of the Resident Evil universe that I'm just like, all right, Africa was cool, Spencer Mansion was awesome, Raccoon City obviously is legendary, but like there is just so much you could do and so many places you can go with Resident Evil, and to see the last like 3 games be like really underwhelming in like plot and location. Location actually was the only thing I've been excited about. I played the demo for 6, and I think Leon S. Kennedy was with or Chris was with soldiers in like some foreign country fighting zombies. I love that. I was like, that was the best part of the game to me because you're exploring this giant universe you've never touched upon.
The
really.
best part of Resident Evil 6,
is when it ended.
I like, if you even made it that far.
I didn't.
Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil later in the series as a whole, the whole bioterrorism theme
Yes, that.
they kind of ended up writing themselves into, especially at 5. You know, it started with 4 more than anything, but I like it. I enjoyed that direction they were going in, and I totally thought they didn't take advantage of it in the way that.
That's what I mean. They just
'cause
they
Resident-
allude to it.
Resident Evil, which is funny because considering its roots classic Resident Evil from PS1, how hokey and cheesy it was, it really is grounded in a more realistic situation. That there were murders going on in the forest. They sent in a team to specialize in finding out what's going on. Turns out there was some corruption underneath with the pharmaceutical industry that was heavily invested in the city that was right next to the forest. It seemed like a very appropriate scenario, especially playing on social commentary of today's world, and it was enjoyable and immersive in the sense that you were put in these places where they could have totally existed, and it was at a pace slow enough that you believe that these highly professional team members, SWAT team members, whatever you want to call them, police members or military, whatever, that they actually could manage themselves and get out of the scenario alive.
Barely.
And that was done very well. And then it went from that kind of pseudo-realism to Resident Evil 4, which took things kind of to the next level, but Shinji Mikami did it in a way where I think it was done in a tasteful manner. I believe that while it was a little kooky, in some ways, I think Resident Evil 4 still was believable because they did use the whole idea of parasites, which really do exist, and all that kind of stuff. I like that.
5 tried to do what 4 did. So
and then, and 5...
They tried to do what 4 was, where it's like, they're not zombies, they're infected, but it was just...
Yeah, 5 was just a mess in so many... See, 5, my problem with 5 is that it threw out, I think, some interesting plot points that 4 was alluding to, that Code Veronica was alluding to. And they didn't really roll with them too well. Like they tried going with the new company, and there was too much gray area of who Wesker was really.
They tried to reset the universe.
Yeah,
kinda.
It was weird. No, it was just weird. 5 kind of just killed the momentum that I feel like the plot was.
One of the best looking games I played though at the time. 5 was gorgeous.
In my opinion, 5's better looking than 6. Yeah, I think 5's better.
I think that also helps with the environment of Africa. It was it was so gorgeous and one of the most colorful Resident Evils I'd ever seen.
So,
which I loved.
So the whole bioterrorism thing, I think they could have done well with it, but they didn't do it in the way that was believable. They could have. It was way too over the top. They tried shoehorning in old school survival horror elements, which I thought was really poorly done. I mean, I'm gonna have Leon S. Kennedy go to a scary graveyard with a church, and you got to ring the bell. So that's old school Resident Evil, right? You got to ring a bell by shooting at it. And the zombies are coming out of the graves now. Like this is not. This is campy.
We talked about it. I think it went from survival horror to action, and that's
okay. This is the whole point of me bringing this up.
30 seconds, so. Give me a 30-second synopsis right now.
I respect the writers and creators and everyone involved with Dragon Ball Z right now.
Okay.
All right? I know this seems really left field, but this is my point. They are currently working on the next saga of Dragon Ball Z with Dragon Ball's Super.
Yeah.
It's had its rough patches with the animation and stuff like that. It's done its own retreads of the story from the movies that just came out. But now it's finally starting to go into new territory that seems really promising. I've been watching some of it, and it's actually been pretty interesting considering that we haven't had anything really too new or exciting.
I was more into Dragon Ball, yeah.
So, but I respect them because they listen to the fans and the fan outcry that Dragon Ball GT sucked.
Yeah.
That GT was just nonsensical and stupid, and nobody liked it. So I kind of wish that the creators and the people within Capcom, which aren't even really the same influencers of Resident Evil at this point, a lot of them have moved on, even though there's some. I feel that if they just retconned the part of Resident Evil that just kind of died down, that kind of coincided with the decline of the series, and they just picked up from where the series was actually popular.
God willing.
That would be the best scenario that I could possibly think of being a fan. If they just went on from 4 and then they just created new stuff following 4 and just acknowledge those games and did not acknowledge anything that happened past 4, I would actually get back on the Resident Evil bandwagon.
That's what it takes, Capcom. You heard it here.
That's what it takes.
Dedicated one. And they're great at listening. We hear your complaints. We hear your frustrations. Here's a tactical team-based shooter. That's what they say.
I was gonna
That's
say,
Capcom
like,
said.
they're
We will
the
not
worst
give you that
listeners.
because we got to go right now. We're over. Thank you so much, everyone, to watching. Sorry if we killed Resident Evil for you. We'll be back next
still
Thursday,
play it.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Thanks so much for watching. Give us a follow. Give us a follow on Twitter at Chainsaw Academy or at Inravio, and visit Inravio.com for all of our other awesome live shows. Thank you so much for watching. Ray Team for the follow. The other girl. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Good.
Yeah, I made a mistake earlier.
Why did it say Nord